Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world-changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, to create massive awakened impact for millions of souls around the planet, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman. And hello, everybody. Oh, we're so grateful to have you here. Man, God. So, Maria, so glad you're here today.
I'm so glad to be here with you today, finally.
Yeah, at last, right? So,
At last.
Grateful for this. And so we had an incredible guest today. She's just such, we had a conversation. First time I met her, we had a conversation. And it's rare I have someone that just like goes really like an authentic, truly authentic, like deep connection right away with people. And that's who Maria is. So I really, really appreciate that, Maria. And I just want to tell you a little bit about Maria as far as like some of the highlights for background, as far as her and in other aspects of what she's been up to in the world. And so I want to tell you about her. So she's a highly productive and creative being, that's for sure. Maria Cina has had a wide range of professional entrepreneurial experiences. As an actress, Maria has appeared on film for some amazing directors, including Francis Ford Coppola. And on television, she's appeared in Criminal Minds, Battle CREEK and SEINFELD, and many others. And it's so the list just goes on. I mean, let's just say the list goes on. There's a lot of stuff in here. As a dancer, she toured with Prince and Reba McEntire, and just she'll tell us more, I'm sure, bits and pieces. But she's also she's done incredible things as well as creating things. She created spiritual lingerie, a jewelry line that amassed a famous client list, including people like Naomi Campbell and Matthew McConaughey. And she's been featured in Bazaar and Style, U.S. Weekly, VH1 television magazine, Fabulous Lives.
I sound really cool. No one knows I'm just a geek. I'm just a geek.
Yeah, she just has fun doing all these amazing things. And she had this amazing Mia Mac, it's how you say it.
Mia Mac, yeah, my handbag line.
Luxury handbags for women. That are just these amazing day-to-night adaptive connective handbags, luxury leather handbags.
Yeah, but it was all sustainable leather. It was all edible food sources. So
yeah,
that was our one caveat.
Amazing.
Like I didn't want to deal in any reptile skins
right.
or exotic skins. It's just like if you didn't eat it, you didn't wear
that kind of leather. We're talking about a different kind of leather here.
That's my thing.
And she's been huge in philanthropy as well. And with the National Ovarian Cancer Coalition, the Noreen Fraser Cancer Foundation, she's committed to making a difference to the women's health initiatives.
Cancers, yes.
Yeah, and then she is having adopted her son Nam from Vietnam. Maria and her boy have committed to the Children Vietnam organization. So it just, again, it goes on. In 2017, Maria launched Create Her, which is a consultancy and production house with a focus on female-centric live events featuring women-owned businesses and female artisans, authors, tastemakers, and game changers. I love that. And then most importantly, she's a passionate cook, commissioned painter, lover of adventure, and a magical ball of light. Maria's caring heart and effortless domestic mastery has earned her the nickname Mama Cina.
Mama Cina. My last name is actually pronounced Cina.
Is that how we pronounce it? Mama Cina. Okay, sorry about that.
That's okay. You're not the first.
All right. Okay. Then when you're in cinema, right, it really confuses people. So, okay, she is an ordained minister and presides over weddings and soul passages. Maria is married to Frequency founder Blair Harrison, and they have one amazing son and 3 rescued doggies. And she was just telling me about getting out in nature today and all the amazing things she was taking in. And that's what I love about you, Maria, is like the things that we normally wouldn't go on and on about, you get it. Like oh my God, the butterfly. And did you see those wings? Did you like, I mean, I just so appreciate that about you.
I think it's important to be in awe of life.
Yeah.
I think it's important to be awestruck daily by the beauty that is nature and this earth and magic. And I'm continually in awe. And I think if you take the time to honor the awesomeness that's around you, your life tends to be a little bit more awesome. So I stop and smell the roses as often as I can, and I connect with nature as often as I can, and understanding that we're part of something much greater than ourselves, for me, is not only a great comfort, but it is my religion. It is what makes me tick. So
yeah, I'd love to dive in right there too for our audience here on Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, because it's kind of like, the mind always wants to say that's it, right? So, but I want to say in a way that is it, right? I mean, when we can live in just that perpetual, I want to say, I call it a sort of a surrendered state, or just, try to use different words, but just being in the awe of wonder of life. If we only knew that that's it, like in a way, that's it, like there's many things we can say, that's it, but like, that's one of them. It's like, that's it. We think everything has to be so complicated and so crazy, but the truth is we can be in awe, wonder in life. And really, if we just paying attention, things can flow so naturally and beautifully for ourselves. So that's what occurs to me when you say that is that rich life that
it's about tuning into it,
Yeah.
It's just about tuning into it. And and I think so often, especially in Western civilization, and I'm speaking from personal experience, like I can run and go and go and go and run and go constantly, and that I don't taste the food that I'm eating, that I don't, I'm not present. I think so much of us, between electronics and the phone, and we're so not present so often in our own lives. We're not truly witness to our own lives, unless something horrible happens, and then everybody's paying attention. You know what I mean? But I think to really to enjoy each day, and to just take notice of the beauty, the sky, the stars, the moon, just what's been given to us every day. I think it sets us up for, first of all, it completely resets our neurological system, and it completely resets and recharges our energetic field, and I just think it's so important to really, don't sweat the small stuff, but pay attention to the small beauty that is around you, because it amplifies. And, obviously we all know that which gets your attention grows. So I really make a really strong effort these days, especially to, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil, hear no evil, the whole thing. Just try to maintain the beauty of my bubble so that I can be a light. I can then be an emanator of that beauty and that light, because there are enough dark forces around, and there's enough ugliness around. I mean, yesterday, my dad, he has particular political views that I don't agree with, and he's entitled to them, but he texts me this stuff, and I stop what I'm doing. I work really intensely throughout my work day. I work very intensely, and I could be with a client. I could be doing a million, but I work very intensely, and my head's to the grindstone, so to speak. And my dad texts me, so I stop. And it's this stuff that it's kind of upsetting to me. I don't agree with it at all. And I had to text him and say, Dad, like, is this harassment? I'm stopping my day. I'm in my workflow, and you're sending me things that I think are ugly. So, I mean, you're entitled to that, to live with that ugliness if that's what you find beautiful, but please don't please don't harass me with ugliness. Like, I really try hard in my life to make even the most difficult things, I try to find the beauty. I try to find the golden thread. I try to find that one piece, whether it's, you know, the flower that's growing amidst the rock, you know, that one thing that we can hold on to make it something beautiful. So I really try hard not to spread ugly and only to really plug into the beauty.
Yeah.
And it's a challenge, and it's a practice.
Yeah, I'd really love to dig into that one, because I think most of my audience really digs what you're saying, for sure. You know, they really love that. I think what the mind again says, or I always say, look at it as like our minds, whatever you want to call it, but like, but whatever it is, that thing that says, but wait a minute, you know, right? All the screaming voices that are going on all the time on whatever so-called side that it is on, but it's just like all this stuff going on. But like shouting noises and voices, etc. So some people would say, like, when I teach people, I say, foundationally, your life is about letting go and just be here
Grace.
now. You
It's
know,
about
that's
grace.
it. That's it. And then
It's
people
all
will
about
ask
grace.
me, yeah, people ask me, Maria, they'll say, wait a minute, isn't that very passive? Like when you
No.
said bubble, that people are thinking, oh, Maria, like someone might even think somewhere in their mind, like, Maria, get out of your bubble, man. Take a side. You know, pick a
I
side.
do take a side, and that, you know,
Yes, I was
I'm
wondering what you have to say about that. I'd love to hear your reflections. I always tell people, because it's like life's already given us more than enough. I mean, of everything we have. Look, you're abundant. You have everything you need. Everything can be added on from that. Oh yeah, sure. All the great things you want to be up to, it's all going to happen if you just relax enough, so you can experience the beauty of it, rather than just like, you know, constantly craving and you're in some crazy energy about it, right? So
well, I think, you know, to speak to privilege and to speak to having enough and to being grateful for what we have, you know, it's very easy to subscribe to lack or keeping up with the Joneses, or, you know, what your neighbor has, what you don't have, feeling like your life isn't fulfilled. And what really drives me is with Create Her, which is my women's organization, is really helping women tap into the abundance of their life wherever they are. My abundance is not going to be the same as her abundance, is not going to be the same as her abundance. You know, I'm married for 20 years. I have one child. It is not the same abundance as a mother who has 5 children, or as a woman who has no children, or as a woman of color, or as a woman who speaks English as a second language, or as a woman who's had abuse issues, or whatever. Like, we all come from such vastly different starting points. But wherever you are, you have a garden that is your life. You have earth under your feet, and you have a circumference around your being that is your garden. And how you tend to that garden, and how you plant seeds and weed weeds, and what you water and what you grow in that garden is absolutely and totally up to you, because it's your garden. And yes, life happens. The car breaks, people's houses get robbed, jobs get lost, men leave, children get sick. All of these things happen. They're real. Life is hard. So when I say I like to stay in my bubble, that doesn't mean that every day is butterflies. It just means that even on the days when it's hard, soul-wrenchingly hard, you have to find the beauty in it. Mm-hmm. You have to find the joy of the process, of the exploration, of the process in it. And I know that sounds weird, but you know, I work with people who are in passage into this plane and out of the plane. And so while they're in the process of dying from this corporal body, you know, it's a very sad time for people, for everyone, for their families, for themselves to have to leave. But if you can find the beauty in that, as you find the beauty in birth, wow, what incredible achievement is there in that? And I think for me, that's where I come from, like holding on to that and having that wisdom, the privilege, but by the way, of that wisdom is something that makes me take a big bite out of life and relish every morsel of it, every morsel of it, everything, you know? And I think to be able to convey that and to be able to share that wisdom is my why. Like that is my thing, because we are not victims of our existence. We are creators and co-creators of our existence because of the way we react to it, right? So we are definitely co-creators in that, you know. It doesn't just happen to you. It takes two to tango, if not more. So that's what I do. That's where I live. That's what when I work with women, that's what we focus on. We focus on harvesting joy from their garden. Wherever their garden is, let's find the joy in it. Let's find it, let's water it, let's grow it, so that when you look around in your 360-degree view of your world, there are flowers in every season. There is a crop for every season. There is diversity in your garden. I think that's super important, to have diversity of people, of kinds of people, of, you know, kinds of experiences. And for me, that's where I find my joy. I find my joy in noticing the beauty in our diversity, like on my walk today, you know, the diversity of the red ants and the diversity of the centipede I saw and the rattlesnake I saw and the blue jays I saw and the rabbit that I saw. I mean, all these little ismigigs were out. All these little beings came out. We found I was walking with my son. We found a hawk feather, like all of this diversity. And just taking on that, we could have easily just walked and saw the view of the sky and the things that are most obvious. But when you get into the micro, and you get down and you look and you find, you know, this beetle we saw, which was this huge, weird, prehistoric, beastly thing. But then it had this amazing colors on its legs, and it was just extraordinary, you know? And how amazing is it to just find beauty everywhere? And that's the goal.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what's so I want to say desired or needed or whatever, but like is people appreciating this more, because I mean, a lot of times even within like environmental justice or something, right? So it's like, well, these are the programs we need. This is what needs to happen, everything. And maybe some of these things are true, right? Maybe some of those things are part of the solution. And part of the solution is so many things. It's just what you said. Man, look at this beetle. Like, oh my God, look at this beetle. This is incredible. Like to be in that place where we can be in that depth of awe and wonder, like you say, like that, just like, instead of like, yeah, we're putting up a new factory, you better get that beetle out of the way. You know, like that's the way we've been.
But there's beauty in a great factory too. I love how things work. I love
to the factory, but I'm just saying.
But you know what I mean? Like there's beauty in everything, you know, even in ugly, there's still beauty in what would never normally be represented as ugly, you know?
Absolutely. I'm just saying, like, I'm just saying the act of doing other things, we're not paying attention to the deep beauty that's around us. Is really what I'm pointing to. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Noticing, noticing is so important. It's such a subtle thing to notice, to notice. Paying attention is so focused. So it's, focus, pay attention. And you're like, oh, I'm paying attention. But just to notice is more like to receive, in my opinion. It's more like to receive, like, oh, and you can know, and if you pay attention to the subtleties of noticing, then suddenly you're firing on more cylinders than the psychological and the cerebral, but you're noticing how your skin feels or how it smells, or you're noticing it in someone else and how they react to certain words, or The Four Agreements is a really wonderful book. I don't know if you know that book, but it's one of my favorites. And being mindful of your words is so important. To be mindful of your words. I always say to my son, be mindful of your words. Words have power. Words are spells. Everything we say has energy, especially to ourselves. We're so unkind to ourselves. We're so unkind to ourselves. Oh my goodness. I have a lady that I work with, and she's so unkind to herself. And I said, you keep saying you want a man and a boyfriend, but if you don't love yourself, and if you don't respect yourself, and if you're not kind to yourself, how do you expect anyone else to be kind to you and to respect you and to love you? You have to be, and ultimately I always say, no one will take better care of you than you. So you have to put the mask on yourself first before you can love someone else. You have to love yourself first. Before you can feed someone else, you have to feed yourself first. And there's nothing selfish about that. And oftentimes women get wrapped up in being the martyr, mother, whatever, that they feel like they, have to just go, and they're all exhausted and they're working and they come home and, we do so much, we do so much all the time that we forget to be kind to ourselves first. And so that's really my belief system, and how do you do that? How do you find the time when there is no time? How does, when everyone's working crazy hours, or everyone's trying to make ends meet, or just trying to get to the end of the month without floundering, or, trying to get food on the table, or trying to, how do you find the time to manage all of that? So often if a woman is been focusing on her career, she will wake up and realize she doesn't have children or a family or a relationship. And the converse is, they are all about their family, and they've given up their careers in their early 30s to have children and stayed home for 15 years. And now they're 45 and they're trying to get back into the workforce, and they realize that they don't have a career, and the only work jobs they can get are, they don't pay very well, or they require ridiculous hours, which will then pull them away from their families again. So all of these things, it's really challenging. And then you have professional people who are working so many hours that the only people that they deal with are, if they're blessed to have both careers and families, then they don't have a social life, or they only know other realtors, or they only know other doctors, or they, like birds of a feather, sort of flock together like that. So there's not a lot of diversity in that, because then the conversations tend to be the same, and the streams of consciousness tend to be the same, because you're in this, talk about a bubble, you're in this sort of like linear social type of people, whether it's socioeconomic or religious or whatever. So for me, I believe that diversity and creating a community that is diverse will keep you young, will keep you interested, will keep you centered, because you will, find things that you're attracted to and things that you didn't think you might be attracted to, but now that you found out about them more, you are, music, anything. It could be music, it could be art, it could be food, it could be anything. Spirituality, spiritual practices, ritual, anything, relationships, how different cultures deal with relationships. I think it's so important to have diversity. And so that's what I really strive to do. I strive to help women kind of repackage what they find joyful and tap back into that joy, and then harvest it and water it so that there's more joy in their life, whether it starts with 5 minutes a day or 10 minutes a day, or finding those moments where they can do that for themselves, to reset them, to rebalance them. And then when they rebalance, they have more joyous existences and more joyous exchanges. And, it's the butterfly effect. So, and it starts with smiling. So I'm a big smiler.
Well, it's like, it makes me think about like a lot of the people that who have been, a lot of people that I know that, yeah, some of them have been, because most people listening are women, so they've been maybe staying at home and doing the whole gig. I want to say, being a mom, being a housewife.
It's a big gig. It's the hardest, most underpaid job in the universe.
Yeah.
Yep.
And yet, I hear more from the people that are probably listening, maybe even more so, probably more so, that they've worked in a job, usually in corporate America kind of thing, and they've pushed and they've achieved, and then the crash comes. It's like,
yeah.
I can't do it anymore.
No.
Not fulfilled in this anymore. Whatever fulfillment I got, it's not for me anymore. And then it's like, okay, you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to go be a coach, you want to start this sort of business, whatever you want. Okay, all right, you need to be serious, get into that business, now go. And they're like, no, I can't do it that way. And then they're struggling to get like things going sometimes, is what I've seen a lot of. So I'm wondering if you could speak to that, because there's a lot of people that are really needing to operate in a new way now. And you're talking,
being an entrepreneur is not for everyone. Yeah. I wish that it were, but it simply is not. Yeah. Not everyone is a captain.
True.
Some people are not cut out for it. They don't want the stress. They don't want the aggravation. They don't want the sleeplessness that comes along with being an entrepreneur. I've done it. I've done a lot of things. And as you so beautifully illustrated in the beginning, I thought, oh my God. But I've done a lot of things. I've been in the stuff business. I've been in the gem business, and I've had a good deal of success in all of the things that I've done. I maybe haven't, become a multi-bajillionaire, but I've made a very nice living in whatever endeavor I've done. And at some point I'm like, I don't really want to sell stuff anymore. I've done stuff. There's enough stuff. And, working on global accounts and all of those things. Do we have enough stock? And are they going to take the stock? And are they returning it? Like all those things, it's a lot. And ultimately it was stuff. So then you're like, okay, well, I'm putting in all these hours and it's so much stress. And yes, I'm making money, but is that everything I want in life? And yes, money is super important, and a big part of my Create Her platform is mind, body, spirit, and finance. Because if you don't have money, it sucks. If you don't know how you're going to pay your rent, and if you're living in a spiral of debt, it's really hard for me to tell you to meditate and clean your chakras and eat, organic, when you are in a spiral of debt and you're not taking responsibility for your finances and not planning for your future and just pretending that some prince is going to come and save you. Like that's a huge, huge part of my platform. So being an entrepreneur is not for everyone. Some people want to go and get an hourly wage or a salary and be able to get their things, and that's fine. That's great. We need you. But if you do have the chutzpah and the tenacity, because being an entrepreneur is nothing if not tenacious, then it's a great way to live. It's not easy. It takes, yes, you get to work your own hours, but you get to work a lot of your own hours. I work a lot of hours. I really do. I work a lot of hours. I'm on Zooms 3 nights a week. I'm at my desk here most days all day. It's why I have to get up early and work out. I love it though. And it's gratifying. For me, yesterday I helped a mom of 3. She's divorced. She had some money from her divorce, had no idea what to do with it. As usual, like she was in another situation where she had given all the financial power to the man, and she stepped out of her business when she was 32 and she had 3 children. And, we hear this over and over and over again. And now she has to figure out who she is in her next phase of her life. She doesn't want to go back to law because being a lawyer and trying to start where she's starting is a lot of hours, and she still has 3 teenagers. So for her to go work in a law firm is a lot of hours. So, discussing with her about her financial plan, discussing with her about where to put her money that she does have so it will grow and give her a pension as she gets older, and securities of that nature, how to make sure her kids, all that money is tax efficient, to help her rediscover who she was before she became the person she is now. Like, who was she when she was a teenager? What things did she do that made her tick? Where did she find her joy then? Because 9 times out of 10, if you go back to doing, when you were like between 13 to 16 and the kinds of things you were interested in then, 9 times out of 10, if you go back to those places and you really tap into that, you're going to find your joy again.
Right.
Now, you may not be able to be the dancer you once were.
Yeah.
Or the basketball player. But if you just started with going to a dance class or going to play at the Y or something that would give you the same kind of buzz that you got at that time, we dig into the why of why you liked it and what it made you feel like and all those things. And then we repackage it, reframe it into something that you can do now that will give you that same or a similar kind of buzz and joy. Well, that kind of sparks a whole new thing. And all of a sudden you remember who you were when you were hopeful, excited, fearless, young, all of those things. And you just tap into that. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like it's like fertilizer. It just goes, poof, and you see the soul kind of revive again. And this girl come out, and this woman was like, shell-shocked and war-torn and menopausal. And all of a sudden she's like, hi, yeah, I did this and I went and did that. And, and it's a beautiful thing to behold. And so yesterday when I was working with this woman, it was like, I hung up the phone. I was in the best mood because I had done something of so much value that wasn't selling a handbag, wasn't selling a piece of jewelry, even though my jewelry was spiritually special and intentional and work with crystals and stones that were very specific and all of that. And it got women pregnant, my jewelry. So, help women get pregnant, I should say. It was just super gratifying, and when you have that kind of reward, that kind of purpose, that kind of effect, it's a really good thing. Yeah. You know that you're doing the right thing with your life, to be in your dharma, to be in divine order, to be in flow. And then the money comes. Enough money comes. maybe not in a minute. It's not a quick, nothing worth anything happens fast. Really, it's a build, it's a progression, but it's magical,
You know what I've seen with a lot of people? I'm not saying this is a universal thing at all, but I'm saying this is something I do see with people that seemingly have made a lot of money fast. As fast as it's built up, sometimes to
It's
some
as fast
degree,
as it goes.
really as it can crash.
Of course,
Not to mention how you feel about it. Like
of course,
initial high, and then it's not enough. Then you do more. It's an addictive cycle.
sure.
You know, so it's crazy. You've been around a lot of people that have gone through those cycles, I'm sure.
I've been part of it.
Yeah.
I wish when I had 14 national commercials running and television shows running and residual checks coming in the mail that came in a week, that some people that I quite frankly would love to have in a month now, and I was buying stuff. And it was like, I was equated to sunglasses. I had sunglasses, thousands of dollars in sunglasses. And I'd leave them on the lunch table, or they'd drop, or the car ran over them, or I lost them, or they got scratched. I mean, thousands, like $600 sunglasses, $400 sunglasses, all the time. Gucci, Fendi, like they gave me purpose. And they don't matter. Now that could come with wisdom. I didn't grow up with money. I didn't grow up with, I had everything I needed, but we had times when we were struggling. My parents were divorced, and there was a time when we were on welfare and free cheese, and it wasn't a long time, but we definitely did have some government assistance when I was a kid. And so there was a part that as soon as you come into money, you really want to pretend like you've always been there. And how that kind of, being able to walk into those fancy places and spend was kind of a rite of passage. And I get it. But, hi, I'm on the phone, sorry. But, it's a beautiful thing to not need it. To love yourself enough to know that it doesn't define you. And I still have lovely things. It just doesn't define me anymore. I can equally wear something for $15 as I wear something. It doesn't matter.
Right.
It just doesn't matter. Come here, Frankie boy. My dog is barking. Excuse me. Come here. Come here. Come here.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, for those that are able to see video, yeah, here's a very
It's Frankie.
Being here.
My fearless canine.
Yeah.
One of them anyway. The others are, well, they're not here anymore. They passed. Sadly.
Yeah.
But I'm a big dog lover. I still have Fish, and I have this boy, and I'm constantly rescuing things and bringing them home and finding homes for them. It's important that we take care of the little things, whether it's little people or little animals. It's important that we look after those who are smaller and smaller than us, I think. So.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really have a next question other than just taking in the beautiful stuff you're sharing here, Maria.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's just, one opinion. It's just my just my thing,
Right.
Just my thing. But I think it's important to be respectful of everybody's whatever drives you doesn't necessarily have to drive me,
Right.
But I'm grateful.
Right.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the diversity in my life. I'm grateful for the lessons. Every day I pray. I meditate every morning. And I pray to my past, to my ancestors. And I always say God is busy, but your grandmother's not. So I pray to my granny and my grandfather and my aunties and my uncles and to all those who came before me, because without them being here, I would not exist. And without their lessons and their, life skill, I wouldn't have my instinct and my intuition. So I'm so grateful to all of them for giving me that and for allowing me to be here. So I always thank them, and then I call them in and ask them to support me. My dog is barking like crazy. Hold on a second. I ask them to support me in whatever endeavor that I'm doing that day, whether it be, I have a grandfather who is a great negotiator. So if I ever have to negotiate a contract, I say, okay, Papa, come and be with me. And then I have another grandfather who is so patient. Like, he was just an absolutely patient man. So if I find myself feeling impatient, or if I'm going to do something that I know is going to sort of trigger me, I pray to him to give me peace and patience. And so I always thank my ancestors, and I have a bell to call one of my fairy godmother in, my Auntie Belle. And then I thank my present, and I light a candle for my present. So I always light 3 candles, and I light a candle for my present. And I give gratitude for everything that is my now, my family, my home, my body, my vision, my skin, my nails, my hair, my teeth, everything that is me, my child, my surroundings, my food, my husband, my family and friends. I could keep going. And it's just stream of consciousness. And I give gratitude for the lessons that I'm going to learn today and the people that I'm going to be able to help today. And then I light a candle for my future, and to give gratitude for all the beauty that's to come and all the lessons that are to come and all of the good that I'm going to be able to do to come. It's really important to me that I leave this place a little bit better than I found it.
Yeah.
It would be great if everyone felt that way, wouldn't it?
Well,
that if people didn't want to just take and see what they could get out of it, but if they actually walked into any situation and said, gee, can I make it any better? And if I can, how can I? And would it be okay if I did?
Yes. I just think there's such enormous power in deepening in our heart space, not just to kind of be in our heart space, but to really kind of fiercely, like be interested in how can I bring more love into the world? How can I really, really focus my hearts on what will bring more love into other people's lives, really is what it comes down to. Like,
and affect change with that love.
With that, yeah.
Affect change for the better with that love.
Right.
That is inclusive, and that is mutual, and that is, make it better, And we went to Vietnam, and we went to see this village, and the kids didn't have a school, and my son looked at me and said, Mom, we have to do something. So we raised money and we built a school in the jungle, and we brought electricity and water, and I'd never done anything like that in my life, ever.
Yeah.
And if anyone had ever said to me that that's what I would do, I would, at any point in my life, I would have been like, yeah, right. What do I know about building a school in Vietnam? But lo and behold, we built one. We built a primary school for an indigenous tribal village in the mountains of Vietnam. And it serves 60 kids, grades 1 through 5. We did it. We made it better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So whether it's a small make it better, picking up a piece of trash off the ground, or it's a big make it better, like building a school, or being kind to your neighbor, bringing food to the little person, the old person next door. I always say you're not helpless if you could help someone else. So one of the first things I do with working with people who are depressed, or women who are depressed or feeling like they've been victimized or whatever, automatically pair them with somebody else that they can mentor and help. Because if you can help someone else, then you're not helpless. It takes you out of victimhood to be able to be of service. It just does. So go do something for somebody else today. Go and get out there. I mean, you want to be a spiritual being, you want to be a spiritual rock star, go be of service. Don't expect anything in return. Don't expect an accolade. Don't even expect a thank you. Just go do something of service for somebody else. Be kind to somebody else. Be helpful to somebody else. And then you're not helpless. The empowerment that comes with that is irreparable. Irreplaceable. It's like incomparable. It's so fulfilling to be of service to somebody else. It's empowering, you know, and I call it angel work. That's angel work. And you can do that kind of thing, not expect to be paid or not expect anything in return.
I think in some ways this audience is really good at that one. They love to give. They love to give. They're natural givers. Yet it's always good to, always a good thing to recognize that, because sometimes we get so caught up in what we lack is the number one problem. You know, it's like we keep, I lack this, I lack money, I lack that relationship, I lack the health, I lack something, right? But you're right. I mean, when you're just looking to contribute, there's no sense of lack when you're just truly just centered on that giving.
And ultimately, you know, if you're listening to this now, you know you're always provided for. It may end up coming in the last hour or even 2 days late, but you know, ultimately, you're always provided for.
Yeah. Yeah.
It comes out of the woodwork. It comes out of the ether. It drops down. Karmically, it comes back to you. You all know, everyone knows this. It's just that when you're in the forest and the trees are on fire, you forget. You forget that it's possible for it to rain. And, you know, and that's it. You just have to remember that there's magic in every possibility. There's magic everywhere. And the money will come. Sometimes you just have to ask for it, by the way. You just have to ask for the money. You have to just say, I'm going to need some kind of payment for this. I'm going to need some kind of cash for this service, which I think for spiritual people is tricky. But sometimes you just have to ask for it. It doesn't have to be a dirty thing to have a monetary exchange for, you know, the gift of spiritual service.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, Maria, I'd love to dive in that just for a few minutes here. I've you know, getting to know a lot of people over the years, and some people have already made a lot of money, and you know, like yourself, have had money or had a lot of money at different times, and it's
up and it's down, right? It's sometimes you hit your flush, and sometimes you're not so flush. It's like that for everyone.
Sure.
And now, by the way, the higher your tightrope, the higher you live, the farther you have to fall. Correct? We touched on that earlier. So, you know, we've all seen incredibly wealthy people end up incredibly broke.
Right.
So
what's your foundation then when everything falls apart, right? So that's why, you know, this deepness of, like how you put it, like this very diverse garden. That's why I say, I mean, when I have to remind myself, I'm like, remember, Dan, I mean, first of all, it never gets any better than this. I always say, like, now it's as good as it ever gets, because only everything else is more or less an illusion. I mean, everything is whole and beautiful already. So you've got it all already. Then the next thing is just to remember, like, if you look at even specific things, if your mind goes there, like, well, what about money or whatever it is, or my health right now, or like, okay, that's one aspect of your life. Why not also, you know, you can appreciate where you are. That's huge gold right there. And also look at the other areas of your life. Man, if things are going really well here and here and here, and even though I'm going through this is actually the best thing, because this is really deepening me right now in a way that if you really, really surrender to it and bring your heart to it, you'll experience it as absolute beauty. I swear by it. I feel like
Mhm.
people, and it may not happen, can happen in any moment, but it could happen in any moment. If you really surrender in your heart to what's happening, you can experience it as beauty, love, and awe, no matter what's happening.
Oh,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that brings you back, and it helps in the things that you're worried about even at that time. Like all of a sudden, whoa, I'm getting better or whatever, it brings you to that place. It's so beautiful.
and I think, just to close, I know we're almost to our time now, but I think that it's important that we don't anticipate, it's not going, as much as it can fall from the sky. You have to put the work in. You have to show up.
Mm-hmm.
You have to show up. You have to be on time. You have to be happy to be there. You have to, enter whatever room you're entering with good open heart and a good intention. You can't enter anything with fear or pessimism, because it doesn't grow. It's not fertile. If you show up everywhere and say, prove it to me, you're not going to get the proof you need. So it's important to do the work. It's important to get dirty, get in there, do what it takes. And yes, the universe supports you in that, if it's the right thing for you. And if it doesn't, you're going to get slapped around. And I could speak from experience. I've gotten my ass kicked.
So yeah, slap you around on this one.
I've gotten slapped around. I mean, boy, oh boy, Mia Mac is a perfect example. I had a phenomenal partner in that project, and I love her dearly. And it started off really fantastically, and, huge sales and magazines and the whole thing. And then as it continued, it was like we were 2 hides short of the color, or, the stitching was wrong. It was like, I would say, God, I feel like I'm walking in hail, like in a hailstorm, like where you're just getting slapped around all the time. And, ultimately it was like not the right thing for me to be doing. And I realized it on a birthday when I was standing in this huge sales event center, a big convention, and thinking, this isn't why Maria Cina was born. This is not what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not supposed to be here selling handbags. This isn't it, And it's funny when you have those aha moments. But, it was fun at the time, but I definitely it was hard work, and I got slapped around quite a bit. Life slaps you around, for sure. But you got to have to turn the other cheek and find a giggle and look onto the horizon and go, okay, what's next? What's next? How can I be better today?
Right, exactly. Well, with all that being said, I know that there was you did have a free gift for everyone that's listening, or you had a free gift to offer. So can you tell us about, more about that? You've been talking to all these amazing things, and I just love for you to share this gift to people. And it's a rare, goes beyond, most of the gifts that we get on the show. So, would you like to share about that real briefly?
Sure. I hope I remember what I promised, but but what I would like to offer is, first of all, I would like to offer your viewers a free membership to Create Her, if they're females or identifying as females. And that's, there's usually a monthly membership, but they can have a free membership for a year. And if they just write to me at createher.com, or go to createher.com and just send me a note, and I'll get them a membership. If they say your name or the name of the podcast. In addition, in October, we're going to be doing a wonderful 2-day women's virtual event. And I will be happy to extend a 15% off to your viewers again for that. And if there are any women out there who would like to have a private with me, I'm happy to offer a 30-minute private consult, a mind, body, spirit, finance consult with you, to try to help you understand what steps you need to make to find your joy again and to harvest your joy and be more secure in the future you. So again, you can reach me on createher.com. And I look forward to hearing from you guys. And I wish you health, beautiful health, stay vibrant and joyous and safe, and notice the beauty around you. And I wish you blessings, mind, body, spirit, and finance, everybody. And thank you so much, Daniel. This has been really nice.
Yeah, thank you. And one of the send-off things I like to do is just to take a minute, just to see my guests for about a minute or two, just to share some amazing, like, just things I see about the beauty of you, if that's okay if I do that for a moment.
Oh, I'd be delighted. Tell me. What do you see, dear Daniel?
All right, so I mean, as I tune in, I do this little bit of intuitive energy scanning just to share it as well.
Let me uncross my legs for you, my dear.
Okay, awesome. So I just see this fountain of energy coming through your throat chakra is one thing I get. I just get a fountain on every level, like just fountains of energy, and then the heart being open. So it's just like, come on in, like there's this come on in kind of thing. You're welcome here. And so it's really gorgeous. It's a really gorgeous energy that I'm picking up on right now. And I think, what it is like that comes up is if I go to your power center, that's where there's still maybe some old stuff, some anxieties and, a little bit of that going on there. But I feel like the more you go deeper, you keep going deep, like you got like up here, like your upper chakras, and then the heart, I see so much good, great stuff flowing. And then the lower chakra, that just the power center I'm looking at right now, I'm like, that's where it's just going to keep deepening, as you just keep nurturing you and doing all this work for so many women around the world. It's just going to keep deepening. And I think in that, then is that energy just keeps going deeper. I think just such unbounded state of wonderment is going to happen even more than ever for you. And then I think, like, what I feel is that as you get even more grounded in the depth of this beauty and your energy, I feel like you probably have seen this already, but it is one of those type of things where there could be multiple groups all over the place. Groups all over the place create her, right? So I just get like that organically could almost just kind of start happening. Of course,
that's the goal.
Yeah, right. So of course. But
the goal is to connect women with other extraordinary women so they can create their own gardens all over the world. It's happening. It's actually happening.
Already happening. It's already done.
Yeah,
so that's what I see. And I just like share a little tidbit because I love to see people.
Thank you.
Real quick one for you there. So thank you for receiving.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay.
Really nice.
And the last thing is just, if anybody wants to check me out, go to yoursacredpurpose.com, get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation. It's just amazing how you just go in there, it opens up your chakras, you just let the tuning in come in, like, whoa, okay, the insights come, and the world's an amazing place, and it definitely helps people to make money. And then the next thing is just, if you want to get a consultation for myself, there's an opportunity to learn about that right there on the front page. So anyway, again, Maria, thank you so much. I'm just so grateful for you. Thank you.
Grateful for you. This was really nice. Thank you for making my weekend extra special. And it's my birthday next week. So this is really great. Thank you for the reading you just gave me. It was a great, wonderful gift.
Sure thing. Okay. All right. And happy birthday. And
thank you.
Everybody keep on tuning
51. In. Woohoo.
Yeah, 50. Wow. We're about to say, I just had my birthday. I just turned 51. So.
Oh, congratulations to us.
Yeah. Cheers.
Many blessings, my friend. Many blessings, my brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, everybody, just keep on tuning in. We'll keep on rocking it here on Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Goodbye for now. You're listening to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast.
Stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Wednesday and Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.